Welcome to Plot 27. This video tells the storyline of the Korean action movie, Omniscient Reader, The Prophet, a movie about a fantasy novel that suddenly becomes reality. Dok Ja is an ordinary office worker and an avid fan of a little-known fantasy web novel, 3 Ways to Survive in a Ruined World. In the final episode of the novel, it is told that to punish sinful humans, the gods sent extreme trials. And just as the world was on the brink of destruction, the hero, Yoo Joong Hyuk, and his companions overcame those trials. The novel was initially popular, but as the story progressed, people began to think it was unrealistic. Dok Ja had been following the story ever since it was first published, reading it for 10 years straight. Dok Ja wanted to be like Jung Hyuk, strong and determined, able to defeat ruthless enemies alongside his friends. But when his companions began to fall one by one, Jung Hyuk resolved to grow stronger to survive alone. Jung Hyuk kept getting stronger, but Dok Ja remained the same as when he was in high school, often bullied and powerless. After graduating from college, Dok Ja got a temporary job contract. Coincidentally, today was the day the novel ended, and also the day his contract expired. In the novel, Jung Hyuk became the sole survivor at the end. Jung Hyuk once said he couldn't bear to live if others had to sacrifice themselves for him. Dok Ja couldn't accept that ending, so he sent a message to the author saying the ending was terrible. While on the train, Dok Ja met his co-worker, Yoo Sang Ah, who was also working her last day. Their boss, Mr. Han, happened to be on the same train. When Mr. Han tried to ask Sang Ah to dinner, she refused, and to avoid him, she pretended to go with Dok Ja. Dok Ja then received a reply from the author, thanking him for reading the novel. Dok Ja apologized for calling the story terrible, but the author simply told him to create his own ending. Suddenly, the train stopped abruptly. Dok Ja and Sang Ah heard an announcement. The free trial of Planetary System 8612 has ended, and the paid service will now begin. Dok Ja was stunned. This was exactly how the novel began. Moments later, a Korean goblin called Tokebi appeared. An angry passenger shouted that he was late, but everyone froze when Tokebi suddenly shot him. The Tokebi announced that the great beings or constellations would now punish greedy humans. Each person would be given a scenario, and their fate would depend on their choices. In the first scenario, everyone had to kill 1 or more living organisms inside the train within 10 minutes. If they succeeded, they would each earn 300 coins. If they failed, they would die. The timer began, and chaos erupted as passengers attacked one another to survive. Dok Ja was shocked when he saw Jung Hyuk among them, but then a monster attacked the train. Dok Ja noticed a fallen box that contained ants. Remembering the scenario rule, he killed 1 ant and earned 300 coins. However, the number of ants wasn't enough for everyone. Mr. Han tried to take the box, and others began chasing him. Dok Ja stopped a young man from killing an elderly woman. The man's name was Kim Nam-woon. In the novel, Nam-woon was a member of Jung Hyuk's team. Nam-woon then beat Dok Ja mercilessly. Dok Ja remembered that the coins he earned could be used to buy power. After upgrading, he prepared to face Nam-woon, who had activated his grimdark awakening ability. In the novel, Nam-woon was the first to receive sponsorship from a constellation. The two fought, but Dok Ja was still no match. He then discovered ant eggs, which also counted as living organisms, and killed them to earn a massive amount of coins, rapidly boosting his level. Nam-woon apologized and promised not to hurt the old lady, but Dok Ja had already decided he didn't need someone like Nam-woon in this story. Dok Ja gave one of the ants to the old woman, and Nam-woon died, but the old woman succumbed to her wounds as well. 17 people survived the first scenario, and one of them would receive a constellation sponsorship. In the novel, constellations watched the scenarios from outer space. Accepting a sponsor could help tremendously, but eventually, their debts had to be repaid. A water monster attacked the train again, and a soldier tried to open the door. He was Hyun Sung, another member of Jung Hyuk's team. Dok Ja told Hyun Sung to check under his vision window for a skill menu, prompting him to activate Great Mountain Push Level 1. Everyone escaped the train, but Dok Ja noticed a boy still inside, Lee Gil Young. He rescued him, but Gil Young was upset because Dok Ja had destroyed his box of pet ants. Gil Young demanded Dok Ja take responsibility by carrying him on his back. In the second scenario, they had to cross a broken bridge. A water monster named Ichthyosaurus smashed the bridge, turning the dead into zombies. Dok Ja urged everyone to head underground to avoid the spreading poison gas and to keep collecting coins. Their destination was Gumho Station. However, in the novel, Jung Hee Hyuk went to Chungnyeoro Station and died fighting a fire dragon, before using his regression ability to restart the timeline. Dok Ja then witnessed Jung Hee Hyuk effortlessly slaying zombies, finally meeting his idol face to face. Jung Hee Hyuk realized Nam Won had died earlier than expected, likely because of Dok Ja. He was puzzled that Dok Ja knew how to use coins and recognized Hyun Sung. Dok Ja told him he would soon die fighting the fire dragon and proposed they work together. Claiming to be a prophet, Dok Ja urged Jung Hee Hyuk to go with him to Gumho Station. Jung Hee Hyuk, however, pushed Dok Ja away, telling him to survive and meet him at Chungnyeoro Station if he wanted answers about why humans were being punished. Dok Ja fell straight into the Ichthyosaurus's mouth. To complete the next scenario, Dok Ja had to kill the Ichthyosaurus and escape from its stomach. The Tokebi reported to the constellations that Dok Ja was still alive inside. Knowing he could gain benefits if the Tokebi liked him, Dok Ja called it Baehyang, realizing it managed the Star Stream broadcast, the live stream the constellations used to watch. Curious how Dok Ja knew so much, Baehyang paused the broadcast to talk. Dok Ja mocked him for being stuck as a low-grade Class 9 Tokebi, who begged for donations by showing human struggles to the constellations. If Baehyang gained enough donations, he could become a Class 1 Tokebi. Dok Ja promised him an exciting story that would bring massive viewership and offered an exclusive contract. Wanting to become the king of Tokebis, Baehyang accepted. Baehyang broadcasted that acid was now flowing inside the Ichthyosaurus's stomach. Dok Ja told him to open the Tokebi shop, then bought sharp spines of a stone hog. He realized that if he blocked all the acid channels with the spikes, the creature would die, but there were too many to close. Meanwhile, Jung Hee Hyuk was still thinking about Dok Ja's proposal to fight the fire dragon together. Dok Ja managed to seal all the channels, completing the scenario and earning 9,000 coins. Dok Ja took the Ichthyosaurus core and told Baehyang to list it at auction, not to sell, but to trade for the ether of faith. As a reward, Baehyang gave him a starter pack, and Dok Ja finally escaped the creature's belly. Because of his success, many constellations offered to sponsor him. When Dok Ja arrived at Gumho Station, it was already destroyed by a mantis monster. He saved a woman named Jung Hee Won, and they fled together. Soon after, a gang led by Chae Soo confronted them, angry that Dok Ja had saved Hee Won. They fought, but Dok Ja easily defeated them. Another man, Kwon Eun Seong, appeared and stopped the fight. Sang Ah, Hyun Sung, and Gil Young were still alive, and they all reunited. Sang Ah explained that Eun Ho was a council member who had saved survivors by recruiting strong fighters to hunt monsters and share coins with the others. From that day on, Gil Young discovered he could communicate with insects. Dok Ja was surprised Jung Hee Hyuk wasn't there. Hyun Sung said Jung Hee Hyuk had crossed the bridge alone and gone toward Namsan. Dok Ja asked whether they had completed the Gumho Station scenario, but Sang Ah said those who entered the tunnel to finish it never returned. Dok Ja knew that if they didn't clear the scenario, they couldn't reach Chungnyeoro. Things were already diverging from the novel. The Gumho Station scenario required residents to pay a 100 coin daily living fee until all monsters were defeated. Desperate people went on dangerous hunts for coins. Those who couldn't pay died instantly. Some approached Dok Ja, asking him for coins, information they had gotten from Eun Ho. Realizing Eun Ho assumed he was rich after seeing his abilities, Dok Ja refused to donate his coins, but offered to help them complete the scenario instead. They had to enter the tunnels and eliminate every monster. In the novel, Eun Ho sold himself to the constellations, losing his humanity to become a monster. He prevented others from clearing the scenario, so he could keep earning coins. Mr. Han had also become one of his followers. Sang Ah hesitated to enter the tunnel, but Gil Young eagerly volunteered. Dok Ja explained that even if they gave their coins to others, people would still die. The only way to stop the deaths was to fix the cause. Hee Won decided to join, seeking revenge on Eun Ho for killing her friends. The five of them entered the tunnel to finish the Gumho Station scenario. Inside, Hee Won explained that Eun Ho's search team hunted monsters, and secretly killed other survivors afterward to collect their fallen coins. That was how she lost her companions. As the tunnel grew darker, Dok Ja asked Gil Young for help. Sang Ah panicked, fearing he'd summon cockroaches, but instead, he called forth fireflies, who warned that monsters were approaching. Dok Ja told everyone to buy skills using their coins. The five fought fiercely against the monsters, but one managed to capture Sang Ah. Dok Ja and the others chased it, entering the mole rat temple. Dok Ja and Hyun Sung fought the Guardian of Darkness. Hee Won saw it activate the Prison of Illusion, a trap that forced victims to relive their worst memories until their minds broke. Hyun Sung was caught, and Dok Ja fought desperately to free him while the Guardian summoned more minions. Dok Ja asked Bae Hyung to open the Tokkebi shop. He needed the pure energy of the White Star, but he was 1,000 coins short. Killing a few more monsters, he earned enough to buy it, infused the energy into his weapon, and finally defeated the Guardian of Darkness. All five survived, but Hyun Sung was haunted by memories of someone he failed to save, the trauma that had always held him back from using his full power in the novel. They continued and found a treasure chest. Hee Won got 2 swords, Hyun Sung received an arm guard, Gil Young a helmet, and Sang Ah a new outfit. Dok Ja opened his chest and found a broken sword called Shattered Faith. If he could find the Ether of Faith, it would become whole again. Gil Young discovered a strange item, but Dok Ja warned it could cause nightmares and told him to stay away, though he secretly kept it. Hee Won asked how Dok Ja knew so much, and he again claimed to be a prophet. He told them that if they completed the 99th mission, the world would return to normal. There was one hero who could accomplish all scenarios, Yoo Joong Hyuk, but he warned that Jung Hyuk would die tomorrow fighting a powerful monster. Even after defeating the monsters, the Gumho Station scenario wasn't over. Hee Won avenged her fallen friends by killing Chae Soo, and now they had to take down In Ho to complete it. With the power of her constellation, the demon judge of fire, Hee Won defeated In Ho's subordinates, but then In Ho transformed into a monster. When Hee Won was about to strike him down, several survivors stopped her. They revealed they deliberately hadn't completed the scenario because clearing it would trigger a much harder one. Sang Ah grew angry that they had kept this secret. The council had been collecting coins from the dead and redistributing them. Hearing this, Dok Ja finally understood Jung Hyuk's question, why are humans being punished? An announcement sounded. Only 3 minutes remained before the next living fee payment. Hee Won and the others chased the fleeing In Ho, needing to kill him before time ran out. But he crossed a barrier, and despair set in as seconds ticked away until a mysterious gunshot struck In Ho dead, ending the Gumho Station scenario. The shooter stepped forward, Lee Ji Hye. Sang Ah urged everyone to leave, but Ji Hye said they had to continue the scenario because they were now in a different district. In the novel, Ji Hye had survived the first scenario completely on her own. Dok Ja heard the new announcement. Day 4 of the Chungmuro Station scenario had begun. 10 minutes before the monsters appeared, green zones would form, safe areas where survivors could hide. There were 104 survivors and only 52 green zones. To survive, they had to fight for space or rent a green zone for 750 coins per night. One man tried to pay with cash, but only coins were accepted. Seeing his money, Gong Pil-do asked where he'd gotten it. The man said he'd passed Myeongdong Station, where someone was buying coins for $100 each. Pil-do laughed. He was the one running that scheme. At midnight, monsters would invade, and anyone inside the green zone would live. Dok Ja told his team to split up and find empty zones, though there might not be enough for all 5. He instructed them, if they found a zone, protect it no matter what. At least one of them must survive. There were no empty spaces left at Chungmuro Station, and to live, they'd have to take others' places. Ji Hye revealed that Jung Hyuk had told her Dok Ja was a prophet and had accepted Dok Ja's proposal, asking him to leave the others behind. Sang Ah and the rest searched everywhere, but found no free zone. The scenario manager, a Tokkebi named Biryu, appeared, announcing that in 1 minute, the monsters would be released. Some green zones would vanish, and bonus ones would appear. Everyone rushed to fight for a spot. Sang Ah asked Dok Ja to move with them, but he already had a zone. He urged his friends to take zones from others, but Hyun Sung refused, saying they'd be dooming innocent people. Hee Won agreed and chose to fight instead. When teleportation began, monsters flooded in, attacking those outside the green zones. The four of them left Dok Ja behind as he stood alone in safety. Confused, Dok Ja chased after them, shouting that the scenarios were designed to entertain the constellations, and as long as it was entertaining, the rules could change. Green zones could even appear in the most dangerous place, the teleportation gate itself. They split into two teams and rushed ahead. Dok Ja and Lee Gil Young reached the teleportation site, where they saw Yoo Joong Hyuk standing calmly inside a green zone. Dok Ja told Jung Hee Won to leave because he didn't need the green zone. Since only one spot remained, Jung Hee Won ordered Dok Ja to abandon Lee Gil Young and enter the green zone with him. Sang Ah, Hee Won, and Hyun Sung managed to secure their own green zones, while Dok Ja gave his spot to Lee Gil Young and stayed behind to fight the monsters. Overwhelmed by their sheer numbers, Dok Ja swallowed an item that activated the prison of illusion. He was drawn into a painful memory, the day he fought his close friend, Min Sob. Back in school, Min Sob had deliberately lost the fight, so Dok Ja could escape the gang that tormented them. A few days later, Min Sob died, and Dok Ja had told the story to the web novel's author. He began to realize that Jung Hee Won's words, "It's not your fault, it's the world's," were meant for him. Dok Ja feared that the tragedies written in the novel would soon become his own fate. But Dok Ja wanted a different ending, one where the hero survived alongside his friends. Jung Hee Won told him that he should have fought back against the bullies and won. He once had dreams like Dok Ja's, but after losing countless comrades in the hellish battles, he used his regression ability to return to the beginning and decided to fight alone. Dok Ja awoke from the prison of illusion to find his friends wounded. Sang Ah and the others had left their green zones to protect him, uniting their strength against the monsters. Sang Ah said they needed to move on to the next scenario, but Lee Gil Young and Hyun Sung were too injured to fight. Dok Ja grew anxious. Today was the day Jung Hee Won was fated to die battling the fire dragon. If that happened, the world would end. To prevent it, someone else had to face the fire dragon instead. Hee Won volunteered to fight to the death, but Dok Ja insisted that he would be the one to take on the fire dragon. Biryu, the Tokebi in charge, announced that the constellations were furious because some survivors had left their green zones to fight monsters. As punishment, the scenario's difficulty would be increased. The 57 remaining survivors would now compete for just one green zone. Biryu chose the sole recipient himself and selected Pildu. Dok Ja asked Ji Hye to join his side, but she refused, saying she would claim the green zone for herself. Dok Ja accused her of not learning from the deaths of her friends. By surviving alone, she condemned others to die. Bae Hyung reported that their live broadcast was receiving massive donations, and Dok Ja would soon cash them out. Ji Hye prepared to attack Pildu, but Dok Ja suddenly appeared and offered Pildu a deal to hire him for one day. Intrigued by the offer of 100,000 coins, Pildu accepted, and the green zone shifted to his location. Ji Hye was shocked as she saw Dok Ja raise his sword to destroy the green zone itself. She realized that Dok Ja was doing this because he didn't want to live while everyone else died. Moved by his resolve, Ji Hye shot at the green zone to help him. Panic spread because the monsters would be released in 1 minute. Dok Ja rallied everyone to fight together. He kept his promise and transferred 100,000 coins to Pildu, declaring that no one under his watch would die. Pildu accepted the task, calling for those willing to fight to stand beside him, while the rest took shelter. The constellation Master of Defense granted Pildu temporary protection, and the battle began. Dok Ja saw the fire dragon emerge. He ordered Pildu to hold off the smaller monsters while he faced the dragon himself. Dok Ja shouted for Jung Hee Won not to interfere, but Jung Hee Won stepped forward anyway, ready to fight the fire dragon head-on. The system announced that one human in the area had been detected with abnormal power. With unanimous approval from the constellations, the scenario's difficulty was raised. Dok Ja was stunned. The fire dragon was transforming into something far beyond what existed in the novel. The group struggled against the monster when suddenly the mantis monster appeared, summoned by Gil Young. But the fire dragon easily crushed it. Sang Ah begged Gil Young to stop. Seeing his worsening injuries, he shared his pain with the dying mantis he had summoned. Inspired by Gil Young's courage, Hyun Sung finally overcame his trauma and activated Great Mountain Push, Level 4. Sang Ah and Hee Won coordinated their attacks, and the four of them, Dok Ja, Sang Ah, Hee Won, and Hyun Sung, united to face the fire dragon. Dok Ja told Sang Ah to cast her web, then sprinted straight toward the dragon. He knew the dragon's chest held a circular shell protecting its core. If they could pierce that core, the fire dragon would fall, but whoever broke the shell would certainly die. Dok Ja resolved to do it himself. Once he shattered the shell, Sang Ah and Hee Won were to strike the exposed core. If they succeeded, they would receive a special ability, one that could resurrect the dead. Dok Ja charged in to destroy the shell as Sang Ah bound the dragon's arms with her webs. He struggled to crack it open until Ji Hye appeared, lending her strength. Hee Won prepared to strike the core, but the fire dragon lashed out and struck her. The team was on the brink of defeat as the shell regenerated, until Jung Hee Hyuk suddenly arrived, joining the fight once more. Dok Ja watched as Jung Hee Hyuk pierced the fire dragon's core, the same fatal act that had killed him in the novel. The fire dragon struck back, killing Jung Hee Hyuk instantly. Dok Ja froze in disbelief. The hero was dead, and with him, the world began to collapse. Just as despair consumed him, Bae Hyung delivered news. The Ichthyosaurus core had been successfully traded for the Ether of Faith by none other than the novel's author himself. Dok Ja infused the Ether of Faith into his broken sword, and it transformed, becoming whole once more. He sprinted forward toward the dragon. Hyun Sung appeared, lending his strength, while Hee Won sliced off the dragon's wings and Sang Ah bound its arms once again. Seizing the chance, Dok Ja leapt forward and finally pierced the fire dragon's core. The green zone scenario was complete. Each survivor received 10,000 coins, and as a bonus reward, Dok Ja earned the unique title King Without Killing. With that power, Dok Ja used his reward to resurrect Jung Hee Hyuk. The world was saved, thanks to Dok Ja and his friends' determination. In the film's credit scene, Mr. Han is seen running in terror. Everyone at Gumho Station has been slaughtered. He shouts that they're heading toward Chungmuro, and the movie ends. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more movie storylines.